Everybody, welcome back. We're doing another Marvel Future Revolution video, and in this one we are going to be talking about the best build specifically for Star-Lord, and in this particular case, PvP. So I'll give you a quick rundown and then I'll go through a little bit of the detail, but this is the quick and dirty on something that you want to build for Star-Lord. At the time of shooting this video, he is very strong in PvP and PvE. He's got some stuff multiplier wise, which we'll get into in the conversation. So if you want to build Star-Lord, definitely check out this video. If you like what you see, hammer down like buttons, all that sort of stuff. Let's get into it.
Bring me WolverThor!
Okay, if you want the skills, they're up there, right there. You can see it. They're great. They're good. Grab them. I'll go through them in detail. All right. But you can kind of get an idea of what the icons look like. Trying to do this for anybody who just, you know what, just wants it really quick. There's the specializations. Again, I'm just trying to do this for anybody who's sort of looking for the quick and dirty. But if you still want to, you know, watch the video in its entirety, we will very much appreciate you and your support there. And then let's see, the last part was just if you want to have our opinion, my opinion, based on what I'm talking to. And a big shout out, by the way, to OBJam and JS for this. I was talking to those guys specifically. There's some of the better Star-Lords out there. So I was talking to those guys. We'll get into it in detail, but he is an insane companion for this build. Okay. All right. So now let's get into some of the detail. All right. So the basis of this build is all about flame. You just stack flames. You get a lot of hits on your enemies. You can shift some of this stuff around if you want. Some people like to have the number 5 ability in the one slot just so they can basically go around the arch and then sort of like just keep going and then jumping back and forth between their cooldowns. But having said that, we're just going to start with what we've got on here in the order that we've got in here. So our first ability, we like to call these, when we do this, it's the sections here at the bottom are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then right here is A, B, C, D. So the first one we're looking at is 3A. This is a flame shot ability, obviously, because everything in this is flame. Cherry Bomb. What this does is it stacks some additional, basically a flame stack on them, a burn stack. And the damage gets increased by 24% for 8 seconds once you reach that max stack count. So that's why it's important to have as much flame on this character as possible and to be able to try to land that as much as possible as well. I actually had, and I just switched the 1 and the 2 slot real quick there. It's key to make sure you have the one with the flame. All right. The one that you saw a second ago was a little lightning bolt. So in the 2 spot, we've got a burning multi-blast. The one that I had before here is you can see, and this is where it's important, is you get an electric or shock damage. So make sure you pick the right one. Again, more flame. You can see this one does a ton of damage. This one is pretty bonkers. The first one we saw there was 308%, you know, and this one here in the 2 slot, and it hits pretty quick, is for a whopping 1,141. You do not want to get hit by this ability, and if you're using Star-Lord, you want to make sure to hit with this ability. Very key here. All right, in the 3 slot, this one's a little bit longer cooldown. The other ones you can see 6 seconds. This one's 16 seconds. This one's 19 and a half, almost 20 seconds without any cooldown factored in. Again, more stacking of the burn, lower guard rate, but it fires best. It's a hard-hitting ability, 1,500%. But the big thing about this one is it's untargetable. When people talk about Star-Lord not being able to be hit during, you know, oh my gosh, he's flying around for 10 seconds. This is the main ability, or this sort of ability is the one they're talking about when he's just sort of jumping around, doing his attacks, all that sort of thing. And it hits really, really hard. So you do not want to get hit with this ability. And once again, you want to be able to hit with this ability. All right, coming in at the 4 slot here. This is just a buff. If you want to go pure flame, I'm sure you could play around with a little bit and trying to get another one on there if you want. But this one, I like the dodge skill recovery gauge here, and then also the stam recovery. So that way you're going to be able to dodge more, which plays into a factor with some specializations if you go that route. but in general, you like dodges so you can avoid damage anyway. And then obviously you want to make sure you're not stam locked. So we're going here with the 7A ability. And then last, but definitely not least, is the Flame Cannonball. Now, there are different abilities on here. You can look at this one that's in the D section. This one hits harder, but you can see it's sort of locked in there. The first one, it has got a nice short cooldown of about 12 seconds. It's it's got a higher stam, but you can see the laser eraser is it's over twice as much, and it's more stam. So, I would lean in on the Flame Cannonball one. Again, it hits for 802%. It's got the knockdown ability on it, which is honestly huge. So if you can land that. But this is what I'd say is the best PvP, especially at least in Dimension Duel, skills. All right, so I like these. I think in these order, again, talking to Obi, talking to JS, these are the best abilities here. And Flame, one of the things I want to mention is Flame damage is a multiplier. If you're not aware in game, the way damage stuff works is you've got different things: attack, crit damage, skill damage, flame damage, PvP increase. All of these things are multipliers on your overall damage output at the end. Flame is something that a lot of other characters don't have. Most characters don't have stuff like this. So because of that, Star-Lord has the ability to do a lot more damage a lot quicker. And that's why you should and could see him way up on the charts on PvE, and or seeing him blast people real quick in PvP. Now, he's also a bit of a glass cannon, so, you got your ups and downs with stuff like that. But that is what we got for our skills. Now we're going to jump into our specialization. All right, so on this screen, you'll see on the right-hand side what I've got from Obi specifically that are the specializations. My particular Star-Lord does not have any of those built. So you can see I have not done anything on his tree, but we're going to click on those abilities, and remember the percents that you're going to see are at the bottom. So these things will go up. This is just conceptually what these things do. All right, so let's look at the first one here. We got the green one, Spice Pirate Grand Finale. It increases the damage dealt to targets with 50% HP or below. I really like these abilities. Black Widow's got something like this. Where once a character or an enemy is below 50% health, you increase the percent. This is, again, I mentioned multipliers. This is one of those things that's another multiplier where your damage starts going through the roof. So definitely max that one out. It is a solid one. The next one he's got on the list here is this red one with the boot. Again, Space Pirate Jet Boots modification. It increases damage of the first skill used within 6 seconds after using a dodge skill. Okay, so that's why I was talking earlier about the skill that was the kind of the headphones, is that increase that dodge rate skill or dodge rate recovery. That pairs very nicely with this. So that way, once you get dodge more, you remember after your dodge, you want to make sure that you use a big ability. And again, anybody who's trying to counter Star-Lord and watching it for that reason, when you see them dodge, run away or get ready to use yours. You don't want to get hit by whatever they're using next, okay? So that's what he's got for the second ability. Third ability he's got on the list there, oh yeah, it's off to the side here, is this orange one, and it's Tolerance Decrease. It's going to be covered a little bit. You can't see the percentage there, not that it matters, but increases all type damage by whatever percent. It's 0, it's 1.5. Again, one more multiplier, so you're hitting even harder. All right, so this is definitely something you want to get up and you want to max. And then the last but not least on here is Galactic Outlaw Rapid Fire Spray. Decreases remaining cooldown by 5% once every 5 times a skill is used. So basically, and there's no cooldown on this, so you want to decrease the remaining cooldown by percent. Now it's basically, I get, and I don't know, and I don't play them enough, but I'm wondering. Yeah, I think it's probably just 5 times in a row, all the skill, so you go through, it goes, it's like, oh, everything's ready again, or at least it brings things back quickly. So if you see a Star-Lord who maybe had a long cooldown for an ability, and this is one reason why the first ability you might want to use is a longer cooldown. You might want to use your longer cooldowns so that they're ticking down. And then when you get to this 5th ability, those longer cooldowns maybe have 5 to 8 to 10 seconds left. Once you get to that 5th ability, it hopefully will shrink down whatever is left so they're immediately available. That is how you want to play this, and that is how I recommend building those skills. So I know earlier when I mentioned, building through those, that's what I would mention or recommend to you as far as the sequence of your attack order. I know sometimes that varies based on who you're attacking and what they're doing, etc. In an ideal situation, you want to use this so that the way you get those skills back. Now, if you want to look through here for other stuff, okay, fine. That's shock. We're not touching that. Increase the duration of status effects. One of the things you got to remember with Flame, you do need a high status effect accuracy. If for some reason you want to have them there longer, you could consider this. I'm not sure I'd want to replace any of the damage ones out there for that. This one here, Space Pirate Special Flame Bullet, creates an additional explosion. 12% attack. Obviously, that would go up. I don't know if I'd want that over everything else that I got from what we talked about earlier. This is a chill build thing, so you definitely wouldn't want that. And then down here, I believe, status effect accuracy. If you're having problems landing anything, okay. But again, something to remember is that it's only when your HP is high. I don't like those sort of criteria, but if you really need it, I suppose it's there. Chain lightning that spreads up to 3 enemies, deals it's shock damage. Again, I'm not sure you're going to lean into that with the flame. Again, chill. And then oops, clicked the wrong one. Some guard damage here, again, chill. I don't think you're going to touch any of those given what we had talked about previously and the fact that it's flame. So I would lean in on the ones that we kind of mentioned earlier. I'm not really sure there's one that I'd really consider. Maybe this one, maybe a guard damage. Yeah, I don't know. I think just stick to it. That's what we got. And, I mentioned on the front end of this video, companion here. So let's dive back into that. Okay, Ghost Rider. I had this in my most recent the best companions for you video, sort of a companion ranking. Ghost Rider is fantastic for Star-Lords because what happens is that when attacking targets with burn or burn stacks, you stun for 2.3 seconds regardless of level. That is a long stun. It is a great stun. Increased damage received by 32% for 8 seconds. Again, fantastic. Summons blazing chains that link nearby enemies and explode to deal 1,000% damage. If the enemies are already affected by burn or burn stack, immediately stuns them and applies a powerful burn effect. This can be game changing, not just in dark or in dimension duels, but also in Omega Wars. If you have a bunch of people laying flame out there and you drop something like this, it can swing the tide. Imagine this thing chains stunning 4 people in an Alliance Omega War or an Omega War. This is huge. Okay, so I definitely highly recommend using Ghost Rider. You can see, this is a picture of Obi's. He's leaned real heavily into even getting Transcendent Stars on there. So if you're going this route, I would highly recommend this. It is a great build. I've watched Obi over the past several weeks and JS over time do really well with a Flame Star-Lord. Obi is beating some of the top tier players in the game just with like insta hits where they're almost dead. It's pretty impressive. So I highly recommend this build. If you're looking for Star-Lord, you love Star-Lord, this is the way to go for PvP. I'll do a separate video for PvE. Hopefully that will help you as well. And if you like what you see, or like I mentioned, share with your aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, grandma, grandpas. If they don't play, maybe your alliance mates. If you want to hammer down like buttons, let me know your comments below as well. I missed something here? You think something's better? Love to hear it. Discord link description below as well. Notification bell, subscribe. You guys know the drill. And until next time, I hope you have a wonderful day.